What is going on, guys and girls? How doing today? It's Xeno Roleplay here once again, and guys, Metamorph League is just behind the corner. I guess it's about time you start looking for this juicy bow builds out there, right? So I'm here to help with top 10 best bow builds existing in the game. And it doesn't mean they're like the best in the world, because, you know, there's just thousands of people creating all kind of builds for this game, and this is the best thing in Path of Exile, creating builds about it. But I really tried my best to find you the really good solid builds with the decent build guides written part, like easy, friendly, with detailed information of them, and all of this build guides also has the video demonstrations of them. So I really tried to show you guys the best selection of builds possible. There's quite a decent amount of ball skills in the game. Some of them are better, some of them are worse, some of them will become way better in this patch, because, you know, explosive arrow has been reworked, burning arrow has been buffed, acoustic arrow is back from the being kind of behind toxic rain again, lightning arrow has been buffed again, a lot of skills has been buffed, like blast rain. We get ballistas now, a lot of Galar and glorious bow skills right now coming to the Metamorph League, so let's get going. Before we go further into the video, I would like to stop for a second and thank my Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers. You guys are making a huge impact on my life and allow me to get going and continue creating content for all of you. Thank you so much. If you want to make it into the list and immortalize yourself on the internet, join Patreon to get sneak peeks and behind the scenes footage of my work. I'm always looking for feedback on my content, guys, in order to improve, so making sure you always leave comment, like or dislike. Your reaction is very important. And remember,
you, yes you, are making a difference.
And the first build on the list is Xeno's ultimate deck stacking Tornado Shot Ranger build, guys. And, you know, the first thing that is important to mention is deck stacking bows has been dramatically nerfed in the Metamorph, and I think that it will roll way lower than it was originally. But it doesn't mean that the build becoming is practically useless. Absolutely not. You can use some other bows like the Hope Shredder, Doomflash Prism, Wind Ripper. It doesn't really need deck stacking bow to play Tornado Shot effectively. There's plenty of damage, and even though Tornado Shot lost a projectile in the previous nerf, but it's still, I would say, top tier farming and decent skill for literally all content in the game. So definitely Tornado Shot, guys. Don't bury it yet. Don't bury Tornado Shot yet, guys. It's still there. It's still fucking strong. The reason why people do not play Tornado Shot right now is simply because GGG tries to get rid of the Tornado Shot mod. It had been strong for so many fucking years. Literally, there was one skill for everything, which was Tornado Shot. And then the Legion people even bossed with Tornado Shot, so it was absolutely insane. And now it's just a little bit less popular. Like I mentioned, even though the deck stacking is pretty much gone, it's not really the meta anymore in the Metamorph for sure, but it doesn't really make a Tornado Shot weaker than it is, and in Legion League it was also a super popular bossing skill, because, you know, there's plenty of damage. You can also use something like the Void Fletcher, you can use Hero's Damage, you can use many different options, and overall it's one of the skills that carries, and it scales well with the different endgame options like good bows, good quivers, good rings, elemental damage, physical damage. It doesn't really matter. It's just one of the most all-around solid skills in the game. Another build on the list is the Shot Deadeye by Sonic's Processing. And Shot is absolutely fantastic skill. It's basically a fist to cold conversion bow skill, which means that it can chill enemies, freeze enemies, and shatter enemies, and that means it's a pretty fantastic clear speed skill. If you manage to get extra projectiles on this is really fantastic, pretty decent strong skill overall. It's like the cold brother of the lightning arrow, because lightning arrow is mostly lightning and Ice Shot is mostly cold. So it's one of the skills that became really popular recently, because it was showcased by more and more people, and it's kind of a bit of a even meta, I guess, right now for some unknown fucking reason. And there's also a fantastic video guide by Asura, which is like over 100,000 views now. So definitely check it out, guys. I'll put it in the description. Fantastic skill. Check this one. Another build that I want to show you is a Hasonix Scourgero Raider using Chainsaw and Void Fletcher. And overall, Scourgero is a very flexible thing. Like a tornado shot, I would say. It can be run with a lot of different bow variations. You can run pretty much whatever you want, and the skill itself carries fucking hard. It's a channeling bow skill. When you press your arrow, it starts creating these toxic pods around on the way it travels. Toxic pods expire and explode, releasing this thorns arrow around, which basically the more you channel, the more stages you get, the more damage you get, with up to 100% 50 more damage with hits and ailments. These numbers make Scourgero one of the best, strongest single target skills in the entire fucking game. And this is one of the reasons why Scourgero is so insanely popular, simply because the damage is so exceptionally high. In the Metamorph patch, they decided to nerf Scourgero a bit by reducing the base damage by around 25%, but they added more additive chaos damage on top to somewhat compensate. So Scourgero hasn't really been nerfed that much, guys. Like I mentioned, guys, Scourgero is a very flexible skill. You can use it with the different types of weapons like Dark Scorn, Lioness Glare, Doomfletch, Prism, whatever, guys. And this variation that you see as using Doomfletch Prism as a bow as the Shroud of the Lightless deck stacking thing. So definitely check it out, guys. Scourgero is probably one of the strongest skills in the entire fucking game. I don't think you will be disappointed. And the fourth build on the list is mine, and this is Toxic Rain Herald of Agony Pathfinder, which I created quite a few leagues ago. And the build still stands incredibly strong. It's one of the most popular bow builds in the entire game, guys. It's over 150 pages of feedback, and it still keeps going. People are still playing it. I put a lot of love and passion in this build. I explored a lot of shit, the different interactions. And this is one of the coolest builds that I ever played personally, because it uses two different skills to deal damage. One is the Toxic Rain, which is a damage over time bow skill, top down, pretty much like Rain of Arrows, or a bit of a mix between Scourgero as well. And Herald of Agony Scorpion, which is immortal and deals a decent amount of damage on its own as well. So this build utilizes the mix of two skills, and Pathfinder Ascendancy is the best for this, because Pathfinder allows you to be literally on the flasks 100% uptime, as well as keep the poison stacks 100% all the time for your Herald of Agony, which makes it literally a no investment. So Toxic Rain Herald of Agony, one of the most popular builds, guys. No bullshit, totally recommended. The fifth build on the list is the one-shot kill Elemental Hit Totem Heirophant, guys. And this is one of the coolest builds that personally I love a lot. And one of the variations of this build I will be playing myself as a league starter. So the deal about this is because Heirophant can get an extra totem, and this build uses Elemental Hit and the totem, which is Ranged Attack Totem, which is now renamed to the Ballista Support Totem now. So yeah, and the build itself is buffed through the insane amount of 2 added extra totems, so it will be becoming even stronger and stronger. And Elemental Hit by default is one of the strongest skills in the entire fucking game, and the build relies on the full fire conversion like practically any Elemental Hit, just going full fire with the Frost Furnace and Yoke of Suffering. So yeah, the build overall is a standard Elemental Hit, but instead of using Raider or Trickster or anything, or for example whatever, it uses Heirophant for the extra totems and maximizing the totem efficiency. So if you want to play something unique, guys, if you want to play totems, you want to play bow builds at the same time, kind of, you can try this build out, this build guide. Definitely, guys, highly recommended. One of the best parts in Path of Exile is that you don't really need to play a ranged character, ranged ascendancy to play a ranged build with bows. And one of the best examples of this is definitely the Elemental Hit Slayer. The reason why Slayer was selected is the absolute increased tankiness in the bottom part of the tree, as well as the Slayer's overleach. Elemental Hit by default is a strong hitter, and is one of the best bossing a single target bow skills in the entire fucking game, and with Slayer on top it makes it pretty much one of the top tier boss killers. So definitely highly recommended, especially considering we have the Metamorph bossing league coming. The 6th on the list in my own Lightning Arrow Barrage build, and I kind of fell in love with the Lightning Arrow when I was leveling my Kinetic Blast Wonder character, and eventually I got back to my starting leveling character and decided to push it into the fully pledged build guide, and I was absolutely not disappointed. Lightning Arrow is a fantastic clear speed skill with a barrage on top, but also has no problem with bosses whatsoever. The damage in the path of building also increased from about like 800k to 1.1 million in the recent update, so definitely more damage now. I have a feeling that Barrage Madonna not even needed to defeat all endgame quantum at this point, so we will see. Overall, a very smooth experience with a fast and deadly Deadeye, so no problems whatsoever. I also fully invested into the build, making it the absolutely endgame viable variation with a lot of gear, a lot of deck stacking, jewel stacking with Shroud of Lightless. Absolutely fantastic, strong build, guys. Can totally recommend if you want to play something interesting. 7th build on the list is none other than Acoustic Arrow Trickster. And this is de facto one of the most popular leveling skills in the past, with whenever you wanted to play a bow, and if you ask for advice, like what should be using for leveling, and most people will tell you, hey, use Acoustic Arrow. Okay. The skill itself has also been buffed pretty decently with the radius, and I think it was the damage that got buffed a little bit. So yeah, the skill definitely became stronger, even though in the past it was kind of surpassed by the Toxic Rain, because Toxic Rain does what Acoustic Arrow does, but does it better, and because it stacks. Acoustic Arrow doesn't stack, and it also needs piercing, but the damage over time aspect of the Acoustic Arrow, I think it's fantastic. It's definitely enough to do most content in the game, and it's definitely one of the best leveling and mapping experience what you can get from the bow skills as a whole. Totally recommended. As we move forward, we come closer to a bit of a more like non-meta list of skills, which are not fairly popular, but for no fucking reason, to be honest, because the skills are amazing. And this is the Rain of Arrows build, guys. There are two cool builds that I personally discovered. One is the more of a standard cold stacking Rain of Arrows build, and the second is a very cool variation which I personally prefer. This is a Slayer Impale, a physical variation of the Rain of Arrows build, which I honestly like more. And overall, the build functions like any other bow builds, like the Tornado Shot or whatever, doesn't really matter, but the biggest difference is the amount of arrows. The amount of arrows in this build is absolutely ridiculous. It's the biggest covering AoE bow skill in the entire fucking game, and if you play something cool, something non-meta, something that does a decent amount of damage, something that is entirely physical, I want to test out this new armor penetration in the next Metamorph League, I can totally recommend this skill. The 9th on the list is the Explosive Arrow build by Semma, and it's one of the few explosive arrow builds that are kind of still alive and people care about it, but trust me, they will care way more of this league because Explosive Arrow got a rework and it looks pretty fucking amazing. Previously, like when you shoot Explosive Arrow, it kind of plants a fuse on the enemy, and with the enemy dies or the fuse expires, the explosion, the big AoE explosion happens. But currently, in the reworked Explosive Arrow, like the next arrow that you shoot doesn't refresh the duration of the fuse. So practically every time you get an explosion, and the explosion kind of triggers all the other damage from the arrows presenting on the enemy itself. So in short, to cut in short, guys, the damage got fucking higher. The explosions will happen more often, definitely. So, Explosive Arrow, I think that it will be an absolute second life for the skill. Can totally recommend. It's one of the smoothest, strongest leveling skills for the bows in the entire game. I absolutely fell in love with the one I was playing it. I have a feeling we will see a lot more Explosive Arrow builds pretty soon, guys. Can totally recommend. Check it out. The last but not the least is actually the most insane build, which I personally will be playing a variation of it, and this is a deck stacking Heirophant using the Iron Commander for the maximum amount of ballistas. So the build is pretty cool. It uses the Siege Ballista gem as well as the unique Iron Commander bow, which gives you an extra ballista per every 200 dexterity. So in general, you're just stacking dexterity as much as fucking possible, and you get as much as possible amount of ballistas. The coolest part about this is that we're getting 2 more extra ballistas in the upcoming league because the support gems have been changed, and by default giving 2 more, so which results not even in 10 but 12 ballistas on the screen. This is absolutely ridiculous, guys. This is a very unique build, even though these ballistas don't really do like such crazy amount of damage comparing to the elemental hit variation with the fire conversion and all this crazy yoke of suffering things, but the amount of things you get on the screen, the amount of totems you get on the screen is absolutely ridiculous, so definitely check it out, highly recommend it. Burning Arrow has been in the dumpster for a while, and for a good reason. The damage was not quite there, and after double dipping has been nerfed, the Burning Arrow kind of bad and abundant skill, but I think that time will change, and the buff that is coming to Burning Arrow looks pretty fucking insane in Metamorph, to be honest. And I found one decent build guide out there, which is the Burning Arrow Chieftain, and keep an eye on that, guys. I think it will be blooming pretty soon, and we'll see a lot more Burning Arrow, guys. This is no doubt, because the skill is absolutely amazing. Can totally recommend. It's a highly inflammable build with a lot of fire damage over time, with Chieftain or Trickster Ascendancy is possible. Flexible, cool. I think that the build has enormous potential. Looking at the rework of the Burning Arrow, I honestly feel like we will see a shit ton of new Burning Arrow build guides out there. And this video is by Nathan Walker, fantastic guy. Does a lot of experiments, build guides, videos and shit, and he released a video I think couple of weeks ago showcasing some Burning Arrow footage, and he also is pretty hyped about Burning Arrow. I also linked the description, guys, to this. Definitely check it out. Burning Arrow, just don't forget checking this out as the league goes, guys. Highly recommend it. The last build that I want to showcase is the Blast Train. And if you're relatively new to the game, you probably have never seen such a skill at all, because, you know, it was in a dumpster for quite a while, but I have a feeling that this league, it will be an absolutely new life for the skill, finally, because it got a projectile tag. Yeah, for no fucking reason, it had never had the projectile tag, even though it was a projectile power tag, but yeah, it just never had the projectile tag, but finally it's fucking there, and I have high anticipations for this skill, guys. I really think it will be totally new life because you can scale with GMP. Overall, it's like a kinetic blast rain of arrows, some kind of a skill. You rain projectiles from the sky, they explode, and all these explosions also overlap. And the coolest thing is that additional projectiles will also cause more explosions. So overall, I think it will be a visual clusterfuck and a lag fest coming, especially with some kind of a cock or ballistas. I don't fucking know what will happen, but Blast Train was sick in the past, and it will be absolutely ridiculous. Just trust me on this. This is a resident sleeper, and I can't wait to try it out with the ranged attack kind of totem Ballista reworked. So definitely check this one out, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.